Okay, so hello and welcome back to the UX Kitchen. And in today's episode, we're going to continue our little product called Trackerly and see how we can design flows, okay? I have this functionality map from the first episode. This was on the board, by the way, so I have it printed so I can use it as a cheat sheet for the designs. And maybe this. So what I want to do is actually think through how to build up the process. Because if you look at this, this is like a lot of functions and content and maybe pages, but we don't see yet how the user is going to, go through the actual product. So this is what I want to think through. So how I'm going to get started is basically I'm going to think about, okay, what are the use cases? Now, a use case is a scenario how a user can go through the product, how can use it in a particular way, okay? So, for example, we have these use cases for the product. I have like a first time use, and I can go into more details and think about how's the first journey would look like. Obviously, I get a lot of other scenarios. For example, the app is up and running, I have my account and so on, because that's the first time experience. But then, for example, I want to contact the vet, or for example, vet emergency use case. Vet emergency, whatever. Or I want to monitor the activity of my pet, or I want to share something on social media. That's a bit different use case. Sharing on social media. So obviously these are like I said, different scenarios that we can think through. So let's get started and take the first time experience, for example. And now I can use a lot of tools to map out or think through a process. I would love to get started with a user flow or / task flow. Basically, the difference is that with a task flow, it's a flow chart, and we are focusing on the actual tasks and not considering the different user types. So a user flow versus a task flow, the basic difference is that you get like many user flows, which shows you how like a first time user would use the tool, how like a power user would use the tool, or like based on different traffic sources and so on, while you get basically one task flow, okay? So how I want to start is obviously I want to map out the sign up process. So let's erase this. Okay, so sign up process. What I want to start from is the so-called like sign up / login, because obviously if I go into the app, I can either be a first-time user or I can be like an existing user. So I have to offer the option to log in if I'm not already sign up. So this is the sign up login, and then what's connected to it. I mean, I have to decide whether it's like a page where I have to choose whether to sign up or log in, or I have the option to show, for example, the login, and I can navigate to the sign up. It's really up to me. So in this case, I would choose to have this kind of page where I can choose in which direction to go to. So let's say I can go to the login, or I can sign up. Now, very quickly, let's go through how the login would look like. Obviously, okay, I choose to log in. I log in. Then what about forgotten password? Of course. Then this is forgotten PVD. Now, This is again something interesting. You have to think about what happens after you landed on this forgotten password. So what's happening? You insert your email address, you get an email, you recover your password, or you land on a page where you can set your new password. Whatever. I will choose this later option. Okay. So forgotten password. I got an email here, which it's very important. Most of the designers would skip this step. That I enter my email address, I get the email about the recovery, and then set up new password. And interestingly, it will continue like this, because if not the forgotten password path is the one that I go to, then obviously I log in, it's successful. So I'm going to end up in both cases, because it will lead to the same page, to the dashboard, main page, whatever. Now I have to think through. Let's since we have a lot of functions here, now I would say that we need a kind of a dashboard. Or main page. So this is where you land after you log in. Okay. With the sign up, obviously, I have to state that what information I need to, like insert to sign up. So let's see what I have. Sign up, login. Okay. Originally, we were thinking about maybe just using the Facebook's login, but here, obviously, I have this kind of email and password kind of sign up. So let's stick to that to be consistent for now. So I'm signing up. Obviously, let's say I have to enter my name, my email address, password, and whatever I need. And then what's the next step? And this is important because this is separate, because this is an existing user and this is a new user. And what I need to configure or set up in the app to start to use it. Let's see. I will have pets in the tool. I have a vet connection. So the question is that where in the process do you want to start adding information? Because obviously until this point, I'm good. I created my account, but there's like no information on the pet. So, but you do it once, so it's kind of an onboarding, which you only see in your first time. So let's say I have this is where it's going to be the onboarding process. So first time I have to set up my pets. So new pet, PET. What I need to add is basically I have what is it? Platform, sign up device, add a pet, basic information, name, type, sex, color, picture. So let's start with obviously type. So is it a cat, a dog, whatever. And now I can think about, I can keep it like this as well. So just listing out all the options that you need. Or here I can think about how do I want to break it down to be more easily digestible for the user. Because if I select the type, the name, the color, the pictures and all that, it might be a bit overwhelming. So let's think about this type thing. Because if I just can only select that it's a dog or a cat or something, then okay, it might be good. But if I have to go into more details, for example, after picking dog, I have to specify the breed and whatever, it's you might want to break it down into more steps. But for now, let's stick to the easy one. So let's say type, so it's like dog, cat, whatever. Then I want to add the name and sex, color, and picture. Obviously, I can say that some of this could be, you know, like required, so I need to enter them to go on, or some of them can be optional. So I'd sign up. I have my new pet. Now, I would say, since one of the most important part of the app would be the vet connection, and, you know, like syncing with health data, I would really give an option to the users to set up the vet. I'm going to push them to set up the vet connection. So, and by the way, when it comes to onboardings, this is an important aspect, that obviously you have to ask for information, but they haven't used the tool yet. So it's kind of controversial, and you have to think through how much information can you ask for upfront before letting them into the tool. Okay. So vet connection. What do I want here? Here I got the vet. Basically, I have a contact information. That's it. So I have name of the vet, email, maybe a phone connection. Okay, number 3 is that, if you remember, we have a smart collar. So my dog, what was the name? It was Molly, I guess. So Molly has a smart collar, and I want to pair it with this application. Now, obviously, this is again something that might be the part of the onboarding, because a lot of data, a lot of health data, you know, the heart rate monitoring and whatnot was or is coming from the smart collar. So then, and this is all the onboarding. This is only what I see first time. So vet connection and device pairing. Okay. And in this case, obviously you have to think about what can you skip and what you cannot skip. Because what if you don't have the device? What if you don't wanna, you know, like set up the vet connection? So now, for the first time experience, this is important. But later on, don't forget that if I skip one of these options, it still has to be very easy to access them. I cannot ditch them into, you know, like whatever bottom of the settings page to set up a device connection if it's an important feature. Okay, so let's see how the pairing would look like. I have the smart collar, and what I know so far, it has a Bluetooth connection. Okay, we have to think about what if the Bluetooth is not connected. I want to pair the device. All right, identify. Okay, so I will definitely have a device pairing page, which is like, give me instructions. So I can see some sort of interface that would help me to identify that, okay, this is the smart collar, this is what you need to do. You know, turn on the Bluetooth on your phone, whatever. And then, obviously, there could be, what if I can pair the device, and what happens if it fails? So, just to be very visual, I have the smart collar. This is my phone, by the way. Now it's like a modern device. So I have the smart collar there, and I can see that, okay, it's turned on, okay, and let's pair it. Okay, but what if something goes wrong? Okay, so here, like I have a path that it's not successful, so I can end up in a troubleshooting page or something. Or it's successful, because I could easily pair the two devices, so everyone's happy, win-win. And then I also end up in the dashboard, probably. Now, so this could be a first-time user experience, right? So I sign up or log in. I can go through as an existing user, returning user. I can go into the sign-up flow, the login flow, or I can choose to go through the whole sign-up process. Now, later on, you can play around with that. Maybe let's move this into the tool. Maybe you have this as an onboarding, whatever, but it has to feel smooth and easy. And why we're doing this, because compared to our functionality map, this is in context. Now I can sit down and start to sketch how it would look like, how the sign up page would look like, how the adding a pet page would look like, and so on, okay? So I have this flow, and in the brief, there was like more questions about how the flow would look like when I want to go in and check on my pet. So this is an alternative flow, which is like checking health data. And my favorite, I want to share this health data of my pet on social media. All right, so let's erase this flow. Okay, so checking my pet's health data. So I'm at a dashboard. Now, what you have to think about basically is that I can have multiple pets, and there's a variety of features that I can access from the dashboard, and how it's connected to my pet's health data. So I have this kind of a dashboard. Where I definitely see some sort of information about my pet, because obviously, likely you don't have like 15 pets at the same time. So you see some basic info on your pet. So this could contain some sort of health data. Obviously, I have to have the ability to add a new pet. So I'm going to have it here. And this will start a new process. It can be, consist of one step, or it can be, it's good if it's the same as we had in the new onboarding, because it's consistent. So if I had it in one step, then have it in one step as well. So I can, go in and add a new pet. I can open up the pet profile, because obviously I don't see all the information of my pet on the dashboard. So let's say pet profile. Now, okay, what we know about is obviously I have a device paired with my pet. And this is again, I'm just thinking about it right now, and this is how UX is most of the time. This is how designing a product looks like in reality. That I've now just realized that the equipment, so the device, is paired and connected to a specific pet. Obviously, one smart collar couldn't be connected to another pet or three pets. I don't know if there's devices that could be used for multiple pets, but here it's a collar is definitely dedicated to one pet. Okay, so that kind of a bit modifies the previous flow in terms of when you add a new pet, then you can pair device with the pet. Okay, so for example here, adding a new pet would continue with pairing with a device, which also means that from the pet profile I can see pair device. I can get status info, whatever, and I can choose to remove it or disconnect it. Or unpair. Okay, let's call it unpair to be consistent. Okay. So dashboard, I'm on the pair profile. I can see the pair device. I can unpair it. Great. I can access the health data, and let's talk about this pet profile. Obviously, when I see the pet profile, I can see the name, picture, whatever. So I have to have a way to edit it. Edit information, which again should look like exactly how adding a new pet was and how it was in the onboarding. So it's consistent. Now it's almost the same interface 3 times. Okay, so I have this basic information. Yes, I have activity and history. So I have some basic activity on my pet profile, but let's say there's like a lot of different types of activities, like treatment and shots and various activities. So I can access activities where I can see like medical and like the walks, what I have, okay, rests, whatever. So these are listed, so I can access these activities. Obviously on the pet profile, I can say that I feature the latest or the most important whatever. Now I can access it in the activities, and then it might turn out that, for example, for the walks, for example, I can see the map, so the route that the dog is taking. So let's see, map or route. I can see the the duration and heart rate, and so on. So the point of this exercise really is to think about how to form processes and how to form pages based on the functions that we have. So let's see, I have a dashboard. I go into my pet profile, I can edit it, I can see the pair device, which is good. I can see the activities listed, and then, for example, for the walks, I can go in and see the full map. It's kind of a compact all around solution here. And there's one more which is interesting. Oh, 2 more. Obviously, I can see the vet connection. This means that I can edit it, and also I have to think about like if there's an emergency call. So from the pet profile, I can say that, or maybe connected to the vet, but I can say like emergency call. Now it's a good question whether to put it so access it right away from the profile, or I have to go into the vet connection to access this. It's up to us to decide and prioritize. Oh no, sorry, not up to us. It's up to testing and research to find out how important this is to the users and how likely it is that they would use it. So is it something that they want to get to instantly, and so on. We also want to share these data on social media. So I would say that it's mostly connected to activities, because these are the bits of information that might be interesting to share. So let's say my dog did a walk, okay? And this means that here I have to have an option to share it. So share it on social media. Now, obviously, the priorities could be different than what I have here, because I pretty much ditched the social media sharing. So it's like 4 or 5 interactions away from the dashboard. But I think it's like a good priority how I would see the app. The question is it just Facebook, Instagram, or whatever? Because if it's multiple, I have to choose from one of these. So let's say I have a page dedicated to choosing that where I want to share the information. So let's say I can choose from Facebook, or I choose from Instagram. Now, whatever I choose, I need to authenticate myself, since in the previous flow, I was logging in using my email and password, so I don't have my social media accounts connected to my Trackerly account, okay? So here, it continues with authentication. Now, it's a development question, it's not a design question, because obviously this particular interface mainly comes from like third party, so from the social media side. But from the experience standpoint, you want to make it as easy as possible. So you probably have Instagram on your phone, you probably have Facebook on your phone, because if you wouldn't have it, then you wouldn't really want to share it. So that makes sense. So you have those apps installed on your phone, you have them up and running, you're logged in. So you might want to develop a way which, like, with a click of a button, you just authorize your way to connect with those social media apps, okay? So let's say authentication is clear, and then what happens? I have like a sharing page. Where I can see the information. So for example, if it's for Instagram, then obviously we generate some sort of picture, and for example, share page, let's say this is Instagram. So we generate some sort of picture that you can replace. So we have the pic, we have the description, maybe we provide a way to add tags as well. And then boom, you get into a success page. Yes, we shared Molly's whatever walk she did, and it's very exciting. All right, so we checked the health data of the dog. We shared it on social media. Obviously, you can connect this flow with the previous one. I was drawing this on the board. You can have it on paper, or you can digitize it using Sketch, Photoshop, OmniGraffle, or whatever tools you feel comfortable with. It's not really not about like making it fancy and whatever. You just need to think through the process before the interface. Now we are in the position of being able to start sketching the actual interfaces. All right. But we're not doing this now. We're going to do this next week, where I'll be showing how to sketch the first screens and how to continue iterating the designs. So don't go changing, and see you next week. Oh, by the way, don't forget to like this video, share this video with friends who might like this. So stay tuned, and see you next time. Cheers.